Hey everyone, it's Podpocalypse. I know it's been a while, but we are here with the long overdue update. VX40 front and rear, ran it on my 24 TX300. So I'm gonna show you how it held up. We're at the 35 to 40 hour mark. Kind of lost track, but let's go check it out. All right, we're giving y'all some light and I'm gonna crank the contrast up because I got yelled at in my previous video by some nerd. So yeah, we got some missing knobs on the VX40, but overall, I think I gave it a 7.5 in my previous early impressions. Upgrading it to an 8.5. Really like this VX40 rear. I really do. It's just kind of good at everything. Does kind of suck in the super soft stuff if you're going on that really fine clay and sand here in southern Utah, for example. Very compliant in hard pack and hard terrain, which I mean literally hard terrain. Lava rock, sandstone, things like that. It did excellent. You can see we're missing knobbies everywhere. I would say that's actually not a knock against this tire. This is probably the hardest ridden tire I've had in a while. I was out riding solo the last month or so, doing some hard enduro and even extreme enduro, like crazy stuff, where it's like, I got to get up this canyon cliff. And so I had to completely roast this tire full bore to move like 10 feet. And it held up, which is a big win. Things like the Dunlop I've not had good success with in terms of abusing the tire and dealing with heat, right? You can see some heat rash here. Despite the rather hard compound on the knobs themselves, the carcass it's got more of like a gummy-ish carcass, but the knobs are not soft at all. If you are a tire expert and you know what tires you're shopping for, take of that what you will. I would definitely run that again. Very good tire, holds up. This is a 120/90/18. Overall, 8.5 out of 10. Thumbs up. Okay, but now we're gonna go onto the front. This is probably the first one I have complaints with, and I'm gonna get to it right away, right here. This tire, the front VX40, wobbles all over the place. You can feel it in a turn on a hardback. So I don't know if they did that on purpose for this to sort of grip into hard terrain. I don't know if that was a design feature. I don't like it at all. I want a tire with a harder front carcass. Giggity. I don't know what else to say about that. It's not a bad tire. Probably not going to run it again. That part I don't like. It's overall kind of bendy and soft. I like a stiff front tire. Okay, and as a bit of bonus footage, wham. So this is my 24 TX. We just hit the 110 hour mark. We got the new plastics. We got the scrubs 20 mil graphics kit. Tried out some red and holy cow does it look good in my opinion. The only thing left, I gotta get rid of this freaking ugly lime green, by the way. So the way to get rid of this, some of the older ones have a blue one, but if you want black, the FC Rockstar edition, I think any year, you just buy this brake line guide on the parts diagram for the number plate and you can get black for that. Same thing for this. These come in like a flow green color as well for the newer 24s. If you want to get black FC 250 or 450 Rockstar edition. I think I'll give a general update on the 100 hour mark. So we've had really no problems with this bike, which cannot be said for my 22. My 22 at this point had gone through 2 crankcase pressure sensors. For this refresh, I did do a top end, so you can see some of my ugly silicone work there. I guess I'll give some quick pointers on rebuilding this. It is instructed to do silicone on the back and front of the cylinders for these because apparently, I don't know why, but they're super thin and you can get actually some coolant to leak out if you don't seal it up, which I thought was kind of lame that you have to do that, but I did. The other thing that I did is I bought this billet crankcase pressure kind of mount thing. Also a new crankcase pressure sensor. I still recommend doing that if you have one of these bikes. They just get gunk up in there on that little membrane thing. The original pressure sensor sits kind of like in an angle like this. All of that exhaust in burnt premix is going into the sensor, which I think eventually will gunk it up. I could tell that there was something wrong with my sensor. Threw this new one on there. Granted, it's all top end kit and whatnot, so it's all fresh. It already runs way better. I did have to do the TPS reset. If you, how do I say this? Let's say you're doing the top end kit and you want to move the piston. So you're like, okay, you throw it in gear and you move the wheel and it moves around. I had my ambient pressure sensor here disconnected. It sits right behind this cover, the ambient pressure sensor. Somehow it mapped the wrong values because I had that disconnected. And when I put the bike all back together, it was like almost at 4,000 idle RPM. So for the record, if you do anything disconnecting sensors or anything like that, you're going to want to probably do the TPS reset procedure. If you throw your TBI back together and you're like, why is my idle so high all of a sudden? Start with a TPS reset. All right, I know I've been rambling. I don't know what else to say about the bike. I already covered it in my review. The other thing is the Seat Concepts low cut seat, most comfortable seat I've ever had. And then the Carapaks pegs. So these two combined, they are must-haves for any bike that I own now. You're glued to the pegs with these, and this is just so much more comfortable than the stock seat. It's kind of incomprehensible. All right, everyone, I've been ranting and raving for too long, so we're gonna wrap it up. Do want to give you a sneak peek of the next video. We have the Maxxis Desert Cross rear, and then on the front, as always, we got a matching 8100 desert cross. Until next time, that was my update. See ya.